request will be asked to come forward. Each side has 10 minutes. Development plans require a public hearing. However, no action will be taken by the Planning Commission members. Plats, rezoning, revised master plans, and street renamings require a public hearing, and once the public hearing is complete, the Planning Commission members will deliberate and render their decision. Planning Commission members with a personal or financial interest in a petitioner's request are requested to recuse themselves. We've got 7 of a 9-member board tonight, so if for any reason that affects you or you feel like that may affect you with having less than 9 people, then you certainly can waive yours and move it to the next meeting if you wish, or you certainly have the right to go forward tonight. Tonight we've got James Reed, Ann Clements, Cruz Reed, Frank Cook, Clay McInnes, who's on the end? And Patrick, I'm sorry, and Patrick. We have Patrick Moss, and I'm Buddy Hardwick. Members of and petitioners are requested to please speak directly into the microphone. The minutes are recorded for legal purposes, and this is the only way to accurately pick up audio. Again, we have 7 members out of the 9, so if you wish to move it, please let us know when yours comes up for on the agenda. Also, in votes that are taken, it takes 5 votes to approve a motion, and a 4-4 vote is considered a failed motion, which would then go forward to the City Council. Okay. Any changes?
Yes, sir. The 8th item has been withdrawn. It's a
number 8 item, which is
it's a request by Pilgrim Engineering on behalf of the City of Montgomery to rezone a parcel of land on the southeast corner of Taylor Road and Halcyon Boulevard from PGH 35 to B2Q.
Okay, been withdrawn.
Yes.
Okay. We'll come back to the. I tell you what. We'll just go to the approval of the minutes. Everybody had an opportunity to look and read the minutes. Any changes, deletions, additions? Not a motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, first and second. All those in favor? Okay, Tommy, you want to start us off?
Okay. The first item tonight is presented by Morris Cunningham, requesting to rezone a parcel of land at 428 West Jeff Davis Avenue from O1 to B2.
Okay, who's
Mr. Cunningham?
is there a there you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Morris Cunningham. I'm here this afternoon to ask the committee to rezone property 428 West Jeff Davis from a O1 to a B2 zoning. The reason for I've spoken with 3 of the city councilmen, Arch Lee, which is his district, City Councilman Glenn Pruitt, and City Councilman David Burkett, and they all are in agreement and approval of that property being changed because the property the area needs something in there. I'm asking that you all approve that so it can become an office space for me, and also a banquet hall. Matter of fact, it is, since I bought that property, I've been asked several times, will I sell it? By the church across the street. They want to use it for the same thing, to make a banquet hall out of themselves. And I've been approached by a couple of organizations, Masonics and Eastern Stars, to make a Masonic hall out of it as well. Okay, I'm asking to do it. When I bought the property in mind with uplifting that area. It's almost a depressed area now, and I've talked with a few people in the area, and they would like to see it happen. And I would very much appreciate if you guys could do that.
Okay, anybody on the planning commission have a question on the petitioner?
Well, I'm just curious, you going to develop it yourself, or you going to?
Yes, sir. What we're
somebody?
doing, we're trying to, when I bought the property, right after I bought the property, a tree actually fell down on the property and knocked the roof, knocked the roof basically off of it. And since then, I have had a roof put back on that property and was told that it needed to be approved for what my thoughts were. And I went downtown and I was told this is what my next step was.
Okay, yes, sir.
I have one. Is there anyone living in the adjacent properties?
There's a rental property on the on the left-hand side of it that a gentleman owned that. Other than that, there is no houses around it except for the church right across the street. Mount Zion AME Church is right across the street from it. And on the, I guess it's probably about 40 yards, there is a women's pavilion of some kind over there. And right across the old health department is across the street as well.
But my question was, are anyone living in the adjacent properties, or the apartments or whatever?
No apartments, just a living facilities right next door that's rented out.
So someone is living there?
Yes, sir. Someone does live in there, and I think since I've owned that property, probably had 4 or 5 different rental people that's in there or more.
Mr. Cunningham, in the sheet that we get, it states that the intended use of the property, if rezoned, is for office space and a banquet hall, and it's already zoned office. So I know on the banquet side what you got to do, but are you going to have something different because you already had the zoning for the office?
It's already zoned for office, but the banquet part, even the church across the street, what my ideas were, sir, is to make it so that you can have your wedding party in there. You could make it for, you can have your arrangements that people could rent it out for those reasons. For the idea here of having a banquet office, you may want to have your office banquet there.
Have you got parking for anything like that? Are you going to have a real problem with parking?
We have parking there, and matter of fact, the church across the street adjacent use my property to park on Sundays, and when they have stuff there, and they have said it's okay for me to park there as well too.
Well, I'm really talking if for some reason you had your banquet hall, where are they going to park?
There's a field there that belongs to the church, and they have already said I can use that. Plus, in the back, there's parking spaces in the back of that building as well.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Anyone wish to address this? Anyone opposed? Anyone who has a comment? If not, motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Cook, and I'm sorry, Patrick, were you second? Patrick, Mr. Seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. That's 6-4. That's 6-4.
6-4?
6-4 it.
6-4, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, so that passes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
The next item is presented by Jerry Wills on behalf of himself, requesting to rezone property at 327 Corey Street from B2 to B1B.
Y'all, I'm going to have to recuse myself on this one. Jerry and I pardon us on things, even though I don't have any ownership in this one, since we do have 6 votes. Jerry?
Yeah, we used to date the same girl and
Well, that's true,
play
too.
football against each other, so.
You used to do a lot of things.
That was only about 50 years ago, or more.
All right.
Yeah, I'm requesting this to be rezoned up on Corey Street. I've got a young family that wants to do a live-work situation. He would be living in the upper part of this structure. The bottom part he would use for his office and to keep his books. It has an attached storage area there that he wants to use as a garage type area. And then it also has a metal building that's approximately 50, 60 feet from there that he wants to store his and work on his lawn equipment. He basically has a lawn equipment, lawn service, mechanical, as someone described him once. He said he could take a cardboard box and build a spaceship out of it. But I've gotten to know him pretty well over the last 2 or 3 years doing work for me, and this is an ideal situation for him. And the reason that he wants to have a situation like this is that he has been subjected to quite a few break-ins and crime, and he's got some expensive equipment that he needs to be able to take control of. Now, I have gone to I took Mr. Larkin out there to look at it. He thought it was the ideal situation because there's only this building and another building on this dead-end cul-de-sac. It backs up to to O'Connor Tennis. On the corner, you've got the big, tall tower. I guess AT&T owns it. And then on the corner, it's a gentleman from Birmingham has a mobile repair service there. I talked to him. He loves the idea of somebody being over there full time. Mr. Horton, who owns another business that backs right up to that off of Mount Meigs, loves the idea of it, to have somebody there full time also. So it's basically the ideal situation. I also had Mr. Russell from the city and Captain Milam from the fire department go out and take a look at it and gave me some little pointers and different things that they felt like that we'd need to do to bring it to fruition. I spoke to James Center and Helen, and Miss Tanya was talked to by Jerry Russell. So I've really done, all that I know to do to kind of button it up and make sure that it's the right thing to do. And because of who it is and the type of building, I think it is the right thing to do. As a matter of fact, trying to research the history of this building, it was a pest control building back 50, 60 years ago, and the way it was built, no one admits to it, but I'm pretty sure people were living in the upstairs just like this, and and it's been added on to it. It's on about almost an acre lot, so I think it's the right thing to do. And if anybody wants to see a picture of the building or anything, I can unroll it and show it to you, or it's pretty.
Okay. Anybody in the planning commission?
I went out and looked at it.
Okay.
Needs cleaning up a little bit, to say the least, but.
Anybody have a comment or question of Jerry?
As long as they have the separation like the fire department required.
Yeah, Mr. Reeves, I tell you what it's got is, it's kind of interesting. It was built originally as a block building, and it's got a brick facade. Then they added the back part of it, which is a block building, so it actually has a block separation from the storage area to the main structure. It's block. So.
Well, I'd be interested more in where the sleeping quarters are, separation from the sleeping quarters.
Block all the way up, and then of course they want us to put a fire-rated door between there, which is obvious that you'd want to do that, and then make sure that they had access, out the windows, the door access. But they seem to, Mr. Russell and Captain Milam both seem to think it was if there was such a thing as an ideal situation, that was it.
Okay. Anybody else? Anyone wish to speak for or against? If not, there's a motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move to approved and second. All those in favor? And I recuse myself, so that's 6, Jerry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, number 3.
Jeff Code Engineers and Surveyors, on behalf of Refuge Temple Church, requesting final approval of Refuge Temple Plat Number 1 on the east side of Wallace Drive, 700 feet south of East South Boulevard, in a R75 and B3 districts.
I'm Guthrie Jeffcoat, representing the church, and I have a representative by way of the pastor and other members of the church with us. If I can't answer questions you might have, we'll refer to them. This is a large parcel of land, 9 acres, and it's pretty restrictive with a large ditch on the rear, a lot of easements in the southwest corner, but a nice piece of land up on the north. And this is a great thing that's taking place in an area that needs a lot of help out there on just off Southern Bypass. So they have met the requirements of the Board of Adjustments, and we're working on the development plan now and the plans for the structure, and have a nice structure with parking lot. And of course, platting is one of the necessary steps that we have to take in order to get a project completed, and we need your approval.
Okay, thank you, guys. Anybody have a comment or question?
I just wanted to ask a question about that. Does this church exist already? Is there a building already, edifice already for this church?
You want to give me?
Yes,
Would you give your name and
Yes.
address, please, ma'am?
Yes, good afternoon. Reverend Lily Miller, pastor, Refuge Temple, AME Zion Church. We already been established. The church has been operating about 12 years, and we've been renting, and it's time now that we build a place for worship.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Any question? Okay, anyone wish to speak for or against? Come on.
Members of the commission, my name's Joe Warren. I'm an attorney. I represent Community Rentals LLC, which is the owner of the residential lot immediately adjacent to the southwest corner of this property. And we're not necessarily objecting. It's just we have some concerns about what the intended use or the purpose of putting 2 residential lots, which are restricted by the plat restrictions to residential and single-family residential only, into this property. Because that, if it is going to be developed as residences, that's fine. But if it's going to be used for some use other than is currently permitted, which is, let's say, residential, single family, then we have a problem. We currently have a problem in that whoever owns those lots are not maintaining them. They are growing, they're encroaching, pushing over my client's fence. The city has thus far not seen fit to come out and cut that back and send the tax bill to whoever the owner is. And then my other comment is, I guess more of a technical one. I checked the probate records within 30 minutes of leaving my office to come here, and there is no deed for the 2 residential lots recorded to the church. The only recorded deed I can find is to an original 7-acre tract, or 7+ acre tract, which was purchased in 2004. It's but it says it's 7.552 acres. And I'm just wondering whether procedurally it's possible to go ahead without proof of ownership of the entire property to be platted.
Excellent question. Excellent question. In other words, can you rezone somebody else's property? Is that kind of what you're asking? Okay. Does anybody know about those 2 lots? Do we have any?
Guthrie, have you looked at the plat restrictions?
Excuse me. Can I get to the mic?
Oh.
The 2 lots he's speaking of will not be used for church usage now or in the future. As far as the title work, as you know, as a surveyor, I don't do title work. We'll have to refer that regarding the deed that he says appears doesn't exist. Now, I was given a certain description years ago that we did a boundary for them based on the description they gave me. And, you know, this thing's been advertised for 30 days, and I just wish somebody would have come forth and said something when the signs went up. You didn't see the signs?
I've never seen the property.
Okay, well, to make an opposition to this plat and hold up the program, I don't think he's prepared to do so. And we'd like approval if you want to make it subject to a letter from their attorney, warranting or giving title search, fine, but you know, you only meet once a month, so, and we're sort of fast tracking with 3 or 4 other engineers trying to get it ready to break ground in about 3 or 4 weeks. So we'd like for you to approve it today, subject to whatever that might be legal.
What does the minister?
I think she has a
She's got a
document.
paper there.
I have some document. Could I present this to you?
What?
It's,
Well,
where
why
we
don't you tell us
purchased-
what the...
It's where we purchased the additional land.
The 2 lots you're talking about, that y'all are that everybody's talking about now, or is this
No.
additional?
No, not the 2
Okay.
lots.
All right. Explain to us what you're talking about, what land?
Well, after we bought the first piece of the land, there was one small piece that was on the very end, and we decided to go ahead and buy that piece as well. And I have where we paid for it and the documentation of it, and that's the only piece extra that I know that he may be requiring about.
What was the date you bought it? What was the date that you bought that?
This was March in 2017.
I know the county's slow about posting, but I don't know if they're that slow.
2017, March the 24th.
9 months ago. Oh, they're not that slow, though.
But
Not normally.
Martin said this does not purport to be the 2 residential lots, but would this be the property that's on the upper right-hand
Yes.
side?
Yes.
So it's the other end of your property from the lots we're talking about.
You're talking about the 2 that, well, I guess a lot of, the loop, the southwest is the little part that comes, where is it?
North and east.
Yeah, down here in the corner. That's what you're
Southwest.
talking about right here. Is that correct?
Right, we are lot 25. It's the lower left-hand corner. It immediately adjoins lot 26, which is the last one that they are proposing to include in the plat.
Lot 26 and 27 are spelled out on the plat and with dashed lines. You see them on the left there, and
I don't, but let's see if I can
you
pick
don't
them
see
up
it
here.
says
Gus.
lot 26.
Lot 27 I see from
Yeah,
from
and then
mine.
To
Yeah.
your left will be lot 26 also.
I see 26.
All right, I've got
And that's
26.
totally covered with easements and bad drainage and will probably never be developed by anybody.
So in your current plan for construction, neither of those lots are touched.
that's
for
correct.
future plans.
It's not included.
Hopefully
And if
they're
I'd have known
maintained.
this was going to take place, I'd have brought you a site plan. You can see that everything's taking place up on the northern 1/3 of the property.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I think one of the complaints is nobody's maintaining that. Nobody's cutting it.
But that's not why we're here today.
I know, but if this gets passed, I mean, you got to maintain it.
All right. I'm gonna go back and ask Gus one more time now. You did a survey on this property, and in this survey, it included the lots 26 and 27, and what I'm looking at is, I guess, called Lot A. Or Lot A may be the total amount.
All
It's
of
the
it,
whole
yes.
thing. So the the survey is, Lot A is the whole survey, which includes those two residential lots.
Yes.
Is that what we're, is that what we're?
That's correct.
Okay. How would you have, how could the lots be in question right now, other than the fact of there not being a recorded deed on those
Well,
properties?
normally they wouldn't be, because I would have followed what she gave me. She would have given me documentation.
Right.
Usually in the form of a deed with a legal description in it that we would take and survey it and plat it.
Right.
Of course, it bears checking now, but when he raises a question that there's not a deed of record to them, I'd certainly need to check it.
Well,
Here is the only
you see the predicament we're in. We're being asked to approve a plat on the total 9.03 acres, which includes two that none of us know whether or not those lots are actually a part of it or not. You know, from
Well, you got a stamped survey by.
I got your
licensed local
survey,
surveyor.
sir.
You got somebody came up here less than 24 hours with a meeting, and anybody could come forth and say anything and get it postponed in.
Let me ask a question that just for my edification. Why do you need it replatted? If you're not going to do anything with the lots, if they're just going to sit there and you can't do anything and it restricted, nobody's going to do anything, why do we need to replat it into one lot?
I think somewhere in the line, Tommy, that is, straighten us out if I'm wrong, it's city reg, sort of, that we replat it into one lot, isn't it?
Is it unplatted property? Is the 9 acres unplatted
Part
property?
of it on the north is,
It's unplatted?
uh-huh.
Well, that needs to be platted. It doesn't have to necessarily include the 2 other lots.
That's my question. I mean, I don't understand why it can't be. I mean, I assume the Refuge Temple Church owns all of the 9.03 acres. That may be in question, but are you just questioning, sir, are you just questioning the lot where the 2 houses, nothing's going to happen to that lot anyway?
We are concerned
Pull the microphone.
with those lots because
They can't hear you. You can't get.
we're concerned because one of the lots adjoins my client's lot. And it is already in such a condition that it is degrading my client's property, pushing down the fence, extending tree limbs and branches over, so that if it is included with this property and all of the work is going to be done very far away from here, that causes even more concern that this part of the property is not going to get adequate care, and it's just simply going to continue to get worse for my client.
Okay, I'm with you. I understand that.
Yes,
But I understand that problem, but you're not sure who even owns it, right?
No, sir, I do not know who owns those lots. As I
Okay.
said, I have the only deed recorded.
Okay, but she thinks that they own the lot and they bought it.
Sir.
She thinks that the church owns that lot now and is responsible for the lot.
Well,
That's a different issue.
no, sir, the deed that she has, which does not have any recording data on it, is to property on the northeast side of the plat,
Right,
and we are on the southwest side.
right. I'm with you there. Your client's property backs up to lot 26, have I got that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, backs up to lot 26.
that's-
And whoever needs to maintain the property needs to maintain the property, whoever owns it.
Yes, sir, that would be our
That's
contention.
basically what you're concerned about.
Yes, sir.
You're not concerned about the property where they're going to build the temple.
Well, we are not concerned at all that they are going to put a church on this property.
Okay, we're straight.
We would be concerned if they were going to put the church down on the
I
residential
understand
lots.
that,
But where we're,
they're not going down there.
and the fact that they are putting a church on it is not bothersome to us at all.
Okay. Ma'am,
Yes.
What's the purpose of having, I'm back to my original question, what's the purpose of putting the lot 25 and 26 into one, or 26 and 27 into one, into the same plat? I understand you're trying to get started, but why do you need that property replatted? Is my
Well,
question.
when we first originally bought the first part of the land, it was a few years back. And when we purchased the other piece of the land on the very, the north part of it, I was told that they had to replat the whole thing.
Okay, I'm with you. Tommy, why do we need to replat it?
Sir?
Why does it need to be replatted into one plat?
Well, it's just standard procedures to plat the property. It doesn't have to include the 2 residential lots.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Why does that need to be?
Well, they include, well, no, you know, a lot of times people will include the entire parcel in one lot. Oftentimes, and that's what they were doing here.
Well, I'm just trying to, they're trying to get.
Variance for the church use applies to the entire property. But, you know, certainly if
Isn't the real issue for y'all's concern going back to maintenance, isn't that the real issue from your client's standpoint?
Yes, it's just that immediate adjacent property. And
Okay, let me ask you this. Ma'am, how long have y'all owned the residential lots that we're calling 26 and 27?
We owned it within the last 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Is there any reason y'all hadn't been maintaining them now?
The property that we was building on is being maintained. We was waiting on the city, and we just got heard from them last year because there was a lot of stones and a lot of cement in the area that someone was coming, no one knows who was putting it there, and it was hard for us to clean it. And the city just moved it last year, the end of last year. And so we decided that the best thing to do was wait until we built a church, and we just cleaned it all at one time.
You said the city moved it?
Well, I don't know if they moved it completely, but the city was saying they didn't put it there, they don't know who put it there, and it was blocking the drainage from the property being drained into the ditch. But that's been looked at and been corrected.
But they billed you for it.
Did they bill us for it?
Yeah.
No, no, sir.
The city can't do stuff.
I'd like to say
Yes,
that
yes.
I own the lot that we're,
Give your name and address.
Tyler Brightwell, and I own the lot that is
25.
beside the one we're
25.
talking about. And prior to the sale, the city was maintaining it perfect, clear, no overgrowth. So there is nothing there preventing that spot from being maintained. It just stopped once the
Why
property.
would the city be maintaining residential lots owned by somebody else?
I don't know, I don't know.
it may have been,
Maybe.
it may have been to affect the drainage.
Yeah, it's the drainage ditch that's running through there.
They sometimes have
it's
to go
gotta
back
be-
and do that. So, it sounds like it's a dump site from some construction company,
Yes, absolutely.
But
and that happens.
there's no debris there. It's just an overgrowth. There's no debris has been put there. It's just overgrowth.
But you know, you can call 311.
I've called multiple times, and I was told I could clear it myself if I didn't like it.
Well, the city doesn't do work on private property like that. You know, clearing the lot. If it's overgrowth, it's vegetation. The city doesn't do that. That's up to the property owner. And you know, if you get an inspector out there and it's weedy or whatever, they can cite them. And if they don't clean it up themselves, the inspectors will send somebody out there and they'll send them a bill for it.
Well, I just need to know who exactly to call about it. When I purchased this property in 2011, it was free and clear. The debris wasn't, the tree overgrowth was not there. And then in the last year and a half, 2 years, it became thicker and thicker. I have photos if you want to see what it looks like.
All right, let me ask this way, Tommy. If we approve tonight what the request is, which is to make this, plat this one lot into one lot, okay? This church, your church, will have responsibility for that. If for some reason this lady has a problem and it's not being maintained, then she's going to do, I would assume, the same thing that would be done on lots that I got. If it's not being maintained, she would call, the city's going to send them out there and they're going to have to do something to it.
She calls housing codes, and that's who you talk to. Housing codes.
I guess where I'm leading with all this, it seems to me, since the church is trying to do something, seems to me like you'd be better off if you allowed them and supported their rezoning, their platting of that lot. And then it gives you, I think, somebody that you definitely know, because right now, if the case, if your argument is that the church doesn't own it, which has kind of been the argument, then we're all sitting here going, all right, well, who does own it? And you're saying, well, hey, it's been being maintained by the city. The city is not going to maintain something. That's the reason I'm asking why the city does. Again, I'm just trying to get it in its simplest form, and it seems to me like everybody would be better off if you would support them.
Right.
They're making it, and they're platting that one lot.
Well, I just think it needs to be known who owns it.
Speak into the microphone if you do, please, ma'am.
Whoever currently owns it, whether it is the church or someone else, has not been maintaining it. And we have despite my client's calls to the city, nobody has made the owner maintain it.
But again, I'm listening to your argument, and your argument is that they may or may not even own it. You don't know. But whoever owns it hadn't been maintaining it. Well, you can walk out of here tonight and know who owns it if we replat this into one lot. And to me, that would make a whole lot more sense than all the rest of it that we're discussing.
Right.
We have a moment, please.
Yeah, real quick.
They don't make them long, just already replanted. But it's a caveat put on
Gives you somebody to look at.
Exactly. Right now, there's no.
And ma'am, I'm gonna ask you while they're talking, would you commit, if this were approved, would you commit that you would be responsible for maintaining and cleaning that lot up immediately?
Yes, sir.
The 2 lots.
The lots that we have paid for, yes, sir. I will make sure.
Now I'm talking lots 20. Make sure we're saying 26 and 27. Are
Yes.
y'all willing to get some folks out there this next week and get it cleaned up?
Next week?
Well, you can do it this week if you
I
can.
would do it as soon, as urgent as possible.
Well,
Because I just need to get it together. I
It's-
don't want to give you a date and then I don't follow through with it.
The urgency is trying to acknowledge the fact that y'all would, if we replat this, those 2 lots are going to be part of this plat.
Yes, sir.
And it's y'all's responsibility to clean those lots.
Yes, sir.
There's no question about it, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm sorry, y'all want to,
With a commitment to clean the lots and maintain them that way, we have no objection to the plat.
okay? All right. So if we, and I'm going to ask for a motion here in just a minute, but how can we make that part of subject to maintaining, because every one of you got to maintain?
You can't do that.
Okay.
Can't do it.
You've got a
agreeing.
commitment on the record, and Ms. Brightwell can call Housing Codes, or she can call my office, and we'll see that the church is motivated to clean it up.
Okay. And y'all's commitment is that you will get those lots cleaned up, subject to us approving the plat?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, is that acceptable to you?
That's satisfactory to me.
Would you speak in? I apologize.
That's satisfactory to me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone else have a comment or a question or? Okay. If not, a motion's in order.
Move to approve. Second.
Move to approve and a second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Fourth item is by St. John and Associates, Inc., on behalf of AT&T Store, public hearing for development plan for a new building to be located on the southwest corner of Ann Street and Plum Street in a B3 district.
I'm still Guthrie Jeffcoat, and I'm helping out with this project. Are you sure? And they may want to fire me after that last one. But anyhow, Darrell asked me to fill in for him. And this site plan, development plan is of the proposed AT&T and a office building complex. I think we had one comment that amounted to a change that was on the back. They only had a 5-foot landscaping strip, and we've got to have 10. So the most recent plan that would go to the technical departments will show 10 feet on the boundaries, and it'll mean narrowing the lot driveway just a little bit coming around the back. So that will be 10 instead of 5, the landscape screening easement.
Okay. Any questions, any comments from anyone wish to speak for or against this? If not, this was a development plan. We have had a public hearing. Thank you, sir.
Next item is by ECE Survey and Design on behalf of Joe R. McElroy, requesting final approval of McElroy Plat Number 1 on the southwest corner of Ann and Plum in a B3.
McElroy Plat Number 1, half-acre plat on the land that we were just talking about, known as Lot A1. And, of course, it is a combination of 3 lots and will require replatting in order to develop, and we would like your approval, please.
Okay. Anyone have a comment? We've seen this one several times. Anyone wish to make a comment or any questions? Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against it? If not, motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Guthrie.
Next item by Alabama Design and Construction on behalf of Guardian Credit Union Call Center. It's a public hearing for development plan for an addition to a building and a future building at 1028 Lagoon Business Loop. It's a M1 district.
I'm Richard Campbell with Alabama Design and Construction, representing Guardian Credit Union. And we're requesting this development plan approval to look at adding 1,880 square foot to the existing building and another future 2,000 square foot addition for equipment and storage building.
So total of 3,880.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And, you know, my only comment was looking at, is that adequate parking for a call center? I don't know.
The additions and what they're proposed for at this time are just basically just for equipment storage. Or they're using it kind of as a storage facility for different banks. They bring things back, tables, chairs, fixtures. And so the parking spaces there has been adequate up to this time. And to my knowledge, they do not look at needing any more.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against this? If not, this is a development plan and a public hearing has been held.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Next item is Uphill Green Engineering on behalf of Richard Johnson, requesting final approval of R.S. Johnson Plat Number 2 at 318 Madison Avenue and 116 North McDonough It's a T40 Smart Code district.
I'm Pep Pilgreen with Pilgreen Engineering. This is the Madison Avenue Car Wash, which is existing, but there's an existing building on there that was on McDonough Street for years, and we're just platting it into two separate lots.
Pep, does it have, and maybe I'm looking, does it have access, or is it access to that lot off of McDonough now when you replat it?
Yes, there's a parking lot over there. That's an office building. He rents it now,
Yeah.
thinking he might sell it. So, you know, we're just separating the car wash from the lot so it can be a single entity to sell.
Okay.
You can't see it because of the trees, but there's a driveway there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That was, all right. Okay. Any comments? Any questions? All right. Anyone wish to speak for or against it? If not, motion's in order for the plat.
Motion.
Move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Okay. Number
Eighth
eight has been, I'm sorry.
Eighth has been withdrawn.
Been
It's
withdrawn, yeah.
It's a request to rezone parcel of land on the southeast corner of Taylor Road and Halcyon Boulevard. It's been withdrawn. Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, on behalf of Elizabeth Thornton Warner as trustee of Betsy's Trust, request final approval of Greystone Place Plat Number 9 on the west side of Woodside Circle, 1,500 feet north of Greystone Place. It's an Ag 1 district.
Good afternoon. I'm Darrell Strickland with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. This is a one-lot residential plat. It'll have the same setbacks and protective covenants that the previous plats in that area have had, and we're asking for final approval.
Okay. Anyone have a comment or question, Darrell? Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against it? If not, a motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move to approve in a second. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell.
Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, on behalf of T-Square LLC, requesting approval of a revised master plan of Lake Spur at Taylor Lakes, the south end of Chesapeake Pass, and proposed Sedona Drive in a PUD district.
Good evening. I'm Cedric Campbell with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood here representing T-Square LLC, asking for a revised master plan for the Larkspur pod of Taylor Lakes development. This section of Larkspur, we received master plan approval a number of years ago. The market's changed, and so we made some revisions and come in and asking for approval for that revised master plan.
Okay. Are there any questions of Cedric? Any comments, any questions? Anyone in the audience have a question or would like to speak for or against it?
Are y'all increasing the size of your lots, decreasing them?
Decreasing them. Previously, the lot size was 80 to 85, and now we're saying minimum lot size of 65.
65?
Yes, sir.
Do the people that are already there, are they okay with that?
I assume so, Mr. Cook. No one came and opposed.
Nobody came. Y'all have put it in the neighborhood and all of that?
Yes, sir.
They're aware of that. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other questions? All right. If not, motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item by Goodwin Mills and Kaywoods, on behalf of T-Square LLC, is a request for final approval of Lake Spur at Taylor Lakes Plat Number 2, on the south end of Chesapeake Pass, and proposed Sedona Drive, PUD district.
Good evening. My name's Elizabeth Brasington with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. On behalf of T-Square LLC, presenting Larkspur at Taylor Lakes Plat Number 2. This plat creates 31 lots for residential use, and we're here to request final approval for this plat.
Y'all tag teaming us tonight, aren't you?
Kinda.
Okay.
Guess if I'd read ahead, I'd see this.
Yeah. All right.
Read it one time.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? If not, motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and second. All those in favor? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Last item is by Tashina Morris, requesting recommendation to rename McGowan Street to T.S. Morris Drive.
Hello, my name is Tashina Morris, and I have a nonprofit organization. It's called T.S. Morris Youth Intervention, and we acquired some land from the city that has been vacant for at least 20 years. Nothing has been going on the street. We just had the end of McGowan and Greyhound vacated for a soccer field. Well, in the while we were over there cleaning up, what made me want to change the name of the street is a young man walked up to me and he was showing me a few tattoos, and he was trying to get out of his mouth. He has a sign, the street signs on it, and he was actually showing me where he got shot at on the street. So since we are trying to bring a fresh look to the area, having kids over, I just wanted something different and to start completely over and to change the name from McGowan to T.S. Morris.
Ma'am, how many actual houses are on that street?
None.
Zero.
It's been vacant for at least 20 years.
Zero, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The city had it barricaded
Right.
off for years,
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
and it became a dumping site.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. Anyone wish?
I have
I'm
a
sorry.
comment. So you want to rename it as as kind of a new start? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, starting over in the area, not just because of the name T.S. Morris. The center is T.S. Morris Youth Intervention. So I just wanted a new start for the community. Every time we turn around, we looking and trying to find reasons to point the finger at who's not doing what and why it's not being done. So right now, we're just taking the initiative for ourselves because this is the area that we actually live in, to try to do something different, bring something different, new changes. And we are so used to the norm, I remember this. So why we always have to point the finger to say, I remember something bad, instead of changing it to say that this is a new start?
You say that there's a center there?
Not yet, we're in the process.
Okay, and the center is going to be located on
McGowan Street.
On McGowan, which you want to
Yes.
rename after the center?
Yes.
So the center would be T.S. Morris Center.
T.S. Morris Youth Intervention Center.
Youth Intervention Center.
Yes.
So you feel that you're able to reach the youth in that area?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very active now.
Where would that center be? Which side of the street would that be on?
If you're coming off of Oak Street, it's
Yes.
going to sit to the left. We own from Oak, well, right past the first lot on Oak, starting on McGowan Street. We own everything on the left-hand side all the way down to Greyhound Street. And a few more lots across from that, maybe like 6 lots on the right side and a few lots around the area.
Do you plan to develop any other parts of the street?
Well, we're going to have a soccer field. We already got it vacated for that. So most of it on the back end towards towards Greyhound Street would be used as a field.
Okay.
So then going down, coming back up towards Oak Street way is where the actual center would sit, and we have to have adequate parking.
So we're gonna see you back several times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Rezoning and
They have already been seeing me constantly.
rezoning, platting, and everything, aren't you?
You say there's no,
I think it'll be the
there are no houses on the street.
No, sir.
How many property owners are on that street?
I think it's like 4 or 5 more.
4 or 5 total?
Yes. Other than myself, we own most of it.
Okay.
Other than maybe
So
like
70
4 or 5 lots.
When you say you have 71% approval of the property owners,
Yes.
then how many people are we talking about?
I had a few yes and a couple of no's also.
Okay. Well, so you had,
How many, like,
How many, 10
how many is
yeses
a
and-
couple?
I
10
think about
yeses
2 or
and
3
7
no's.
no's.
2 or 3 no's?
Yes. About 3. I think it was.
So you had,
It was about 3, 4 or 5. Huh? Oh, okay, you said a 5.
I mean, are the property owners in the neighborhood? That's my question. Are they?
In the neighborhood or on the street?
Well, there's nobody on the street.
No, it's no one on the
No one on
street.
the
They
street.
just ask for
I understand, but
the
they're-
people that's on the street.
I'm trying to find out the people that are for it and the people that are opposed to it, they all live in the area.
No, no one lives in the area. They have lots over there that's been there for over 20 years and no one has done absolutely anything to it. I mean, some keep their grass cut, but other than that, no development, no.
Okay. I know it's no, I understand that. Okay. All right.
I think his question is, the people that oppose it, are they from Laverne Street or?
No, they don't actually live in the area at all.
They just own the property around.
They just have property. I
They
have
own the
2
property.
properties. I think she stay in Chicago.
Okay.
I commend you for your efforts.
I
Thank
have
you.
3 no's.
3, yeah,
3
3.
no's.
Is there a reason why? Did they give it, did they state a reason
I can
why?
give you the reason why.
Why?
When I first came to the street, everybody was okay. Everybody was ecstatic, like, okay, let's get it going. But then it was like, hold on to your property because the city is coming through here. And when the city come through, they're gonna buy all of this up. And I said, well, they're not coming because I just purchased it from the city. And I think when they realized that that dream or that money or whatever they was going to receive, but that it wasn't coming because someone else had it, everything just fell apart. Everything just fell apart instantly. From city callings to, I got to know Mr. Light personally for him just coming out on a regular basis.
Tommy,
Are you maintaining the property now?
We are doing our best. We, on the rights, well, after 20-some years, it's thick. So we're coming through, and in the summertime, Mother Nature has a different plan. But on the right side, we are all the way down, cut down. All the adjacent properties all the way around, we're cut down. All of the trees that need to be down on the side where the building is coming down, all of those are down. But we still have to remove stumps on that side. But it looks a whole lot better than what it did when I first got it.
and this was all paid for by you? Or
By myself.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
And this will
Comment?
be to the city. Who pays for street renamings and all of that and changes the street sign?
She does.
Pays all
The
of that?
petitioner does.
Pays
take
all
care
of
of
that.
Petitioner
Okay.
pays for
That's
all
what
of
I
it.
thought, but I just want to make sure.
Power company didn't object, and neither did the city engineering department.
Okay, thank you.
Say again, Tommy, I missed that, I'm sorry.
The petitioner pays for the re-signage. The power company did not object to the renaming, nor did the city engineering department. There are 31 lots, and there were 3 no's, and her lots plus 1 yes gave her the majority, 71%. 65 is all that's required to bring it to you. Now, it goes from here, whatever your recommendation is, to city council.
Okay, very good. Okay, any other comments, any other questions? Okay, anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against it? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Davis. and I own a lot over there.
Give your address if you don't mind.
2132 McGowan, that's what I was getting ready to say. Okay. I oppose that the street name be changed because of T. Murray, it is a historic landmark, whether march from Selma to Montgomery to the Captain. Who is T. Mars? What have that person done for that area? My grandfather got that land in 1945. He was in World War II. Put William names on there. Dr. Barry, who's a doctor from that area. He saved life. I was born on that street. Name it after me, Sandra Davis. T. Mars, I have to report to you all for her to cut the grass and keep it clean. And she haven't put anything on there. She haven't tried. She don't even much have a lawn or proper equipment to keep it clean. And soon by the time she cleaned one side, the grass done growed up and then there's a snake. It's been 20 or 30 years since my grandfather passed. And I've been keeping my property up, and on that whole side is other people. And she don't have a good attitude about it. And I don't see why should she. If she do build, I don't have a problem with that, but prove it. Show me you can keep it up. Why the name got to be changed?
What was your grandfather's last name?
Williams.
Where's the property that you own on that street?
It's on the right-hand side.
I mean, where?
If you come down McGowan Street, off of Oak, it's over on the right-hand side up on top of the hill.
Her property is actually in between two of my lots.
Speak into that mic, if you don't mind, please.
Her property is actually in between two of my lots. Well, yeah. I have this entire side and then on this side, and she has I think it's like a 40 by 50 that sit right in the middle of that.
Ma'am, could I ask you one more question, please?
Yes.
In listening to what you were saying, you didn't seem to be objecting to a name change.
Yes.
You seem to be objecting to the change of the name that she wants.
Right.
Am I saying that correctly?
Right.
So the name change itself is not what you're arguing.
Let me explain. I'd rather see that it stay McGowan Street, or put, like I said, my grandfather was in the war. He was dropped. Why can't his name be up there? What I'm trying to see is why is her name so important that she got to have T. Morris up on the street sign? That's what I want to know. And why she can't keep it clean?
Yeah. And that's, I think, a different issue.
Yes.
But
that was my issue.
Yes, ma'am. I think the other issue is certainly separate from the renaming, which you obviously would have the opportunity to have requested a renaming.
Yes, I would like to rename it.
So, I mean, that's my point.
Have you ever made a request for it to be renamed for your grandfather?
No, I haven't, but I could.
No, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Right, but I think we've only received that request for a renaming of that particular street by Ms. Morris. And are you opposed to the center being built?
That's fine. I'm just like
Are you opposed to her naming the center T.S. Morris?
I don't have a problem with that. It's the street.
But you just have a problem with the name.
Yes.
You don't want the name of the street being her name.
Because it's a history to me. It's value to me.
Okay. Do you have any other folk in the neighborhood that feel the same way?
Yes, it's quite a few people that's against it.
But they're not present?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Do you know who McGowan is? Do you know who McGowan is?
No, I doesn't. Who is McGowan?
No,
we don't know.
Okay, no, I don't. The name was there when I was born. I was born in 1957 there, and my grandfather bought the property in 1945.
I'm gonna have to say, y'all, it may be the truck stop at the Southern Bypass. McGowan's used to be McGowan.
Oh, is that right?
So, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. I got one thing. I feel as though if someone is willing to come in that area and invest some money to clean it up, agreeing to maintain it, I think it should be a go.
But sir, she haven't. I had to call down here to report it for it to continue to get cleaned up during the summertime. She have a one lawnmower that she rides. She don't even much afford a ride lawnmower for all that land. She down there trying to do one part. By the time it rained, that done growed up, snakes and everything else. Why should I have to come down here and report to get somebody in the city to come and clean it out?
Ms. Morris, let me ask you one more question, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
When do you plan to build your first facility?
Hopefully, we'll be started at the end of this year.
End of
This
18?
year,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Now, if at the end of 18 there was nothing that had been done to the property, and this lady would have the same complaints that she's got tonight about maintaining. Okay?
Even if the building is up, it's still going to be.
I'm working a negotiation here with
Okay,
you.
that's.
So bear with me,
Okay.
okay? Ma'am, would you have an objection to us approving that subject to her building her facility? That the name would not change until such time as she had CO'd the building, whatever the building is that she's building, okay? And that she had shown that well, obviously she's got to maintain the property, okay? But if she agreed that she would not, that the actual name change would not come until such time as that facility was CO'd and up, would you have an objection to the name change?
No, sir. If she can show me that she can maintain it and put a building like you said, and I see something
Yes, ma'am.
positive about the area,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a problem. Because when the young lady came, I welcomed her in the area, and I said, and she told me what she was going to do. I said, well, that's good. But then she got a kind of attitude, because one day she said something to me, oh, that ain't your problem. I'm going like, okay, what that got to do with it? So.
Well, I think maybe we came to if we could, ma'am, Ms. Morris, would you agree for the renaming not to happen until such time as you had a building there?
Good faith.
I would, but it's not going to change absolutely anything. It's going to still stay the same way. I have been nothing but nice to any and everybody in that area. I haven't done absolutely anything to no one. I haven't been rude to no one. I haven't done nothing. I still speak, even though I know I'm hated for absolutely nothing. I still speak, I still talk. Nothing is going to absolutely change. And I don't feel like I should have to wait
But the name of the street is still not going to make a lot of difference until you get that building there, which would have something to identify. And I think it's really the two of y'all tonight that we're discussing this with. And I think doing that would be a simple, easy way to do it. Because she objects to just going with it, just changing it right now. You don't really, I mean, until you have a building there, the Morris name wouldn't mean anything anyway.
No, it does, and I understand exactly what you're saying. I've just been dealing with a lot over here for a minute, and I just really feel like it's gonna be, and you all have the last say so, but I really feel like it's gonna be unfair for me, for one individual to hold up my process of renaming the street because of personal hardship issues that doesn't have anything to do with me. The issue came with the city not coming to buy the property. It has absolutely nothing to do with T.S. Morris, because if it was about the street naming and people wanted to change the name, they would have been done so. They would have even started doing things over there on that street themselves, like at least trying to get it paved. Half of the street is missing, and I'm trying to get it repaved. No one stepped forward to do any of that. her grandfather's been passed for 30 years, Lord rest his soul, and no one put absolutely nothing on this street, not
So your answer
brick
to my
or.
question, your answer to my question is no.
I mean, you have the last
No,
say
your
so.
answer, if I'm understanding you, you're saying, no, I want y'all to vote on it, and I don't want any contingencies in that, in my request. Is that what I'm understanding you to say?
Ms. Morris, you need to understand, though, that there are 7 present tonight, and it takes a majority to pass it. And I think that, I think Mr. Hardwick is saying that, that if you delayed this until you have a building with your name on it, the ribbon cutting of your business and the renaming of the street could coincide.
Coincide together.
And that you would have a lot more validity to your project, and it would be hard to be opposed if you have something to show for the renaming of the street. I think that's what they're, rather than us, it being denied here at this hearing tonight, is what we're saying.
And I understand, and I'm gonna go with it, but what I was just trying to say is that.
We understand.
This has been.
We understand.
Okay, so, there is, I'm sorry?
City council gonna vote that first.
Well, they will. All right. So what we've got is you're the petitioner. You're the one that paid the money, okay? And what you're asking us to do is you're asking us to bring it to a vote, okay? And whatever that vote is what it'll be, okay?
No, you said that with the.
I think she went along with your last proposal.
She went along with you.
Right, she went along with your last proposal.
She went along with you.
The contingency plan.
Yeah.
Well, I must have missed that. I must have been trying to think ahead of what I was going to say.
No,
huh?
she went along with
She went along with you.
All right, so you go along with the comment that I made, and ma'am, you agree with that?
If it go into action and it proved to the neighborhood and it's doing what it's supposed to do, I'll consider it.
And you're fine with that?
She'll consider it. But I'm fine with it, but she'll consider.
We gonna vote.
Nothing is gonna be.
Well, this is again, nothing more than gonna be a recommendation to the city council anyway.
Okay, so I still have to go
now,
before the city council.
Would
Great
somebody
deal.
like
Let's go.
to put that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion that the street name be delayed until the ribbon cutting. And at the time of the ribbon cutting, then you can open the building and rename the street all at the same time.
Okay, now,
I do not want to
excuse me,
delay
because
the
that's
vote.
not what I was asking.
I think we want to go ahead and have the vote tonight with the understanding that it will not take place.
That's it.
Exactly.
The building.
In other words, the renaming, our recommendation to the city council will be for the approval of the name change, subject to you building the building.
Okay, but as long as it's.
Once you built that building, you can,
Implement
assuming they approve that name change,
But if they change what you just said,
they can.
They can.
They can change anything that.
I'm good. Let's go with it.
Okay, all right. You got better connections on the city.
Yes,
Okay.
let's go with
All
it.
right. Did we get that down, or, okay, here's what we're gonna wind up with. We're gonna wind up with a motion that the proposed motion will be to approve the name change, but subject to a facility being built on one of Ms. Morris's lots, and at such time, at that time, the name of that street would be changed to Morris.
T.S. Morris.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Morris.
Okay?
Yes.
In other words, at the end of the day, until there's something there, it stays the same name right now.
And what you're saying, sir, that it be operating, that the building actually be up?
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay, that's,
CO.
I just want to get it clear.
Certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
CO.
Okay.
Not just the ground, not just the thought process, not just to get an approval of a plat.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because we're gonna see you many times.
Many times.
Okay.
Many times.
All right.
You'll see
Does everybody understand
Yes.
that? All right. There's a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Give me is there a
Second.
Patrick, second.
Patrick, is that?
Second.
Is that fine? All right. All those in favor? Okay, all those opposed?
Can I say one more
Yes,
thing?
ma'am.
T-Mar, keep it clean, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank both of y'all for your patience and working through. That's what it's all
So when
about.
does it go to city council?
Ma'am?
When does it go to city council?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
When does it go to city?
It goes a month, it goes in March.
Oh, when does it go to city
March.
council? March. First Tuesday. Great. All right. Y'all have a lovely night.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Okay.
We're gonna have an election?
Yeah, we've got, how many folks we got? 7? Okay, we got, officers, elections. And we'll open it with the, nomination for the chairman.
I nominate James Reed.
James Reed is nominated.
I nominate Buddy Harwood.
Buddy Hardwick is nominated. Any other? Okay. Out of those, we'll take a vote for Chairman James Reed. James Reed, there's 2 votes. Okay, Buddy Hardwick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I need to vote myself?
No, you don't have to do it to this.
Okay. All right. For vice chair nomination,
I nominate James Reed.
James Reed. Is there a second nomination?
Second.
Is there any other nomination? Okay. Then by no other nomination, that's pretty easy to do.
Acclamation.
So. Okay. So we got that. Now, Tommy, we got to elect Tommy.
Executive Secretary.
Executive Secretary. How long have you been Executive Secretary? A long time.
About 16 years.
Yeah, okay.
I nominate Tommy Tyson.
All right. Any other nominations are closed? Let me say.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor of Tommy? Okay. Thank y'all.
In the minutes.
Minutes, we've already done the minutes.
Already done the minutes?
Okay. All right, guys. Did it? Y'all listen?